Good morning. This is me. I started out small, I guess most of us do. I was a little brother, and I was a quiet type. I had a bit of a struggle to be heard. And I took a kind of journey through music as I found my voice, and that's the story that I'm going to tell you about today. Also, at the end, I'll tell you about what I'm working on more recently at the Media Lab, which is an invention that I hope will help other people find their voices too. My journey into music got started actually around the time this picture was taken, when I was in the 5th grade, and a man came to my school and he demonstrated all of these amazing things, the wind instruments. And there was one of them, a spectacular, crazy contraption with tubes of brass that he played When the Saints Go Marching In on. And that was the trombone, and I fell in love with it. So here I am a few years later. That's me, second from the left. Yeah. When I was in high school, I had an amazing music teacher, Jeff Leonard, and he taught me about jazz improvisation. And that was a revelation, because it was, instead of reading other people's music off of a page, it was about making music that came from inside yourself, about your own thoughts and feelings. And I really wanted to continue this, and I was lucky enough to meet these guys when I was in college. We formed a band. We were called Think, Fank, Funk. Very serious. We played a lot of shows all over Cambridge. It was a great time. And I learned through that experience to dress a little more expressively, but also to sort of scream and shout through my trombone. It was a powerful learning experience. And so today, some of the most exciting musical experiences are the ones that also I've formed some of my deepest friendships through. I've learned that improvised music is a way to feel aloud with other people. It's a way to connect on a level that's deeper than words. Improvised music for me is about connecting with people. And here's me and a couple of the same guys at a late night jam session. And it's in this kind of experience that I've also learned that if you want to have a voice, if you want to be heard, you'll have to listen. In jazz, we call this having big ears. It's about getting outside of yourself in order to be able to hear and understand what someone else is doing, in order to be able to have a musical conversation. And it's really powerful when you can do this. A harder lesson that I've had to learn is something that, it's actually, it comes from this question that has been something facing me since I was little. And it's about, do I want to blend in or do I want to stand out? And there was a moment, and it's actually the concert that you see me in this picture performing in on stage, when I was playing with this band. We played what you might call improvised hip-hop music. It's centered around some freestyle rappers, and there's a backing band of which I'm a part. We were opening for a fairly well-known underground hip-hop act, so we had an excited crowd, and we were playing a song that we were making up as we went along. So there was no arrangement in the usual sense. And there was a moment, kind of lull, a pause, and it felt like something was about to happen. And that's when I realized that what was about to happen was something inside of me. And I was able to just burst out with this improvised blues riff on the trombone, and it was a magical moment, and I brought the rest of the band with me. And that was a really powerful moment where I learned that I could stand out if I wanted to. And of course, that's a way of taking risks in music, and there are lots of different kinds of risks to take. I mentioned just at the very beginning about having a quiet voice. I've actually been self-conscious, really, my whole life about my speaking voice, and especially my singing voice. Now, I should mention, in just a couple of minutes, you're going to hear my singing voice. But up until a few years ago, I would have thought karaoke is something that I would never do. I went on a trip to Taiwan, and on my last night there, I was invited to a birthday party. And of course, what do you do at a birthday party in Taiwan? Well, what they were doing was this wonderful karaoke thing, and of course I was encouraged to join in, So I flipped through the book. I was a little nervous about it, and I found, fortunately, a song by Stevie Wonder. I love Stevie Wonder. And it was a song called I Just Called to Say I Love You. And I thought, I could sing that. So I got the microphone, and I started out singing quiet and kind of low in my baritone register. And, you know, they couldn't hear me. They wanted more from me. And so I realized I was going to have to go up an octave and start belting it out. And as soon as I did, that was when I felt like I was really singing the song. And the whole room started to sing with me, and it was very exciting. And so I took this risk that allowed me to blossom. The thing is that risk-taking, it doesn't always turn out the way that you might expect, because the more attentive of you may have already noticed that on the screen there you see lyrics from not that Stevie Wonder song, but another song by the band ABBA. You never know where risk-taking is going to take you. So these are all some wonderful things that I've learned and I'm still learning in my journey through music and finding a voice. In my research now at MIT Media Lab, I'm trying to come up with ways to help other people find their voice. And one of the problems that I see is that sometimes in music education, we start a little bit backwards. There's this emphasis on the technique of instruments, on theory and music notation, and these things are not what get you right away to musical expression, to creativity and play, and things like risk-taking and connecting and listening with others. And so I thought, maybe there's a way that we can create another pathway into music to help people find their voices. And we started to imagine things. What if you could play with your voice in a new way? What if you could literally paint with your voice? What if you could explore your properties and make a new kind of audio-visual art with it? Well, that led to this invention, which is called Singing Fingers, and I'd like to show it to you right now. So, Singing Fingers, oh, there they are, the singing fingers, lets you finger paint with sound. You draw on the screen, but in order to make anything appear, you have to make a sound with your voice at the same time. It's like this.
Take the risk.
Yeah. Boop. So now I can touch what I drew and play back the sound. Of course, I can talk into it as well. Singing fingers. Singing fingers. So that's a lot of fun. You may have noticed that as I draw with it, I'm getting different colors. That's because Singing Fingers is measuring the pitch of my voice and turning that into different colors. So if I sing a musical scale, I can paint a rainbow. Let's give that a try. Boop, 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 boop. And now I have not just a picture of a rainbow, but a kind of musical instrument that I can play. And, of course, it's multi-touch. So, just a little bit more. There's the idea of playing with Singing Fingers to not just make instruments, but to make musical scenes that you can then perform on. So I'm going to try to do that in front of you now. Who knows what's going to happen? So how about, we've got a little rainbow here. How about a kind of a cloud, like, okay. And then for the ground, the basis of all of this, the voice. And then maybe I'll put some little creatures in there that sound like, and okay, so now I have a little colorful musical world, but what can I do with it? Well, what if I... Thank you. Just one last thing, I wanted to let everyone know that Singing Fingers is something that I wanted to get out into the world, into as many people's hands as possible. And so you can go to singingfingers.com and find out more about it. And you can also download it for free.
All right.